Hello, everyone. Welcome to this week's Trading Tech Talk. Today's topic is going to be the next generation of our SuperTrend Bulls Eye indicator, currently in generation 2.0 and just released. And topic number 2 today is we are going to put our power bundle indicators to use, to action, and we are going to create a trading portfolio using the trade signals of our 3 power bundle indicators. My name is Daniel Sinek, and before we start, let me just quickly go through the disclaimer. As you know, trading is risky. Only trade what you can afford to lose if worse comes to worse. If it comes to hypothetical performance or backtest statistics, keep in mind that backtest statistics are not necessarily indicative of future performance. All right, so now the lawyers are happy. Let's get started. I will be your host today. My name is Daniel Sinek. I am the technical strategist of tradingindicators.com. Together here with me are today Rainer Michaelis, who will create the trading portfolio with you. Oma will be manning the chat, and Nicola will be giving you a trading demo, a charting demo using our brand new SuperTrend Bulls Eye indicator version 2.0. Now, what we're going to do today first is we're going to review what we have done last week. Then we're going to briefly talk what has happened at tradingindicators.com, basically what's new. We then going to go right to the topic at hand, which is our SuperTrend Bulls Eye indicator version 2.0. Next, we're going to build a trading portfolio using our power trend indicators. We're going to answer all your questions, and then we're going to give you an outlook of what is coming up next week, again at 6 p.m. Eastern every Thursday. All right, let's get started. Now, last week we've discussed our power bundle indicators. In particular, we looked at volatility crusher. We also gave you a technical review of 1-2-3 strike and divergence cloud. Rainer then went ahead and explained to you how to dial in the volatility crusher indicator to identify potential trade entries. I also gave you a brief overview of how our custom programming offering works, which basically comes to use for you if you have an indicator in mind, which is currently not available in our store. In case you're wondering where can I find the recordings of these sessions, all the recordings are being uploaded to our YouTube channel, which you can find if you go to our homepage, tradingindicators.com. On the top right of this homepage, you will find a little YouTube sign. Click on there. This will bring you right away to our YouTube channel. Then scroll down to weekly webinars. And in there, you can find all the recordings of these webinars. Okay, so what's new? What has happened since the last week, since the last time we talked? We have released a brand new version of our Zillion dashboard. Zillion is a dashboard that we have developed together with Jeff Tompkins, which allows you to identify your next swing trade across multiple asset classes. This is a screenshot of how the Zillion dashboard looks like. And what we've added in this version, in this next generation, is we have added support for multiple watch lists. We now have trade alerts. We have multi-column filtering. We have improved the speed and the commentary and events section and much more. So this is really a major update of Zillion. Check it out. Zilliontree.com is the URL. And this dashboard allows you to identify your next swing trade across multiple asset classes. We have also released the next generation 2.0 of our SuperTrend Bulls Eye indicator. And this is a game-changing update. Not only have we implemented and improved performance of the indicator itself, we have also implemented strategy builder support, which we'll demo briefly in this session today. And more importantly, or most importantly, we have developed what we call third generation Spearhead Scanning, which will allow you to scan for profitable and highly optimized entry signals. What that means, we'll discover today together in this session. So please stay tuned. Now, let's talk a little bit more about what SuperTrend is in general. So probably most of you have already heard about the SuperTrend indicator. It's a very popular indicator. It's available for most platforms out there. And the author, Olivier Seban, who is a French author and a French trader, developed this indicator roughly 15 years ago. And in fact, he described the indicator in his book, Tout le monde mérite d'être riche, which basically means that everybody deserves to be rich. And I guess he lived by this mantra because the myth says that he became a millionaire at the age of 32, and at the age of 35, he retired trading. So this book is about trading and how to become a profitable trader. And one of the key contributions of Oliver Seban was that SuperTrend indicator. It is one of the most influential trend following indicators out there. Again, as I said, available for most trading platforms. And what this indicator allows you to do is to find early on trend reversals. And trend reversals are identified by buy or sell signals on the chart. The indicator comes with what's called a trading stop, which is tightened as price moves in the desired direction. And it is what is called an always in the market indicator, or in other words, a stop and reverse indicator. And what this means, we'll discover together right now. So let's have a look at this chart, which is an S&P E-mini chart, 50 minutes time frame. And applied to this chart is the traditional SuperTrend indicator. And what you can see here are these small triangles, green triangles for long entries and red triangles for short entries. And the way this indicator works is that whenever the green line, which is below here, which is a trading stop for long trades, is broken to the downside, which we have here, a short signal is entered. From that point on, we are short. Now we're going to continue to be short until eventually the price closes above this red line. And when this happens, we're going long. And this alternates on and on and on. This is why this indicator is also called an always in the market indicator, because you're either long or short, but basically you're never flat. And this is the philosophy of SuperTrend, that you're always in the market, either long or short, and you can take advantage of both types of markets. Now, how does this indicator work internally? So let's have a closer look. So here we have the buy signals, the sell signals. Up here, this is our trading stop for long trades, and here the trading stop for short trades. All right, so a trend reversal or a signal in the opposite direction occurs whenever the trading stop is broken. The trading stop is actually a calculation and is based on two parameters. Parameter one is the ATR period, where ATR stands for average true range, which basically calculates the average volatility of the symbol. And then the second parameter is what's called the multiplier, which is used to define the distance of the trading stop. So what we'll do, we take the ATR and multiply it with this multiplier here, and we add this to price. And the result of this gives us our trailing stop. So as price moves up, for example, so price goes, if you're long, price goes in our direction, the direction that we want it to go, price goes up. And as a result of this, because the trading stop is always a function of the price, the trading stop will also be tightened. It will be increased as price goes up. Or conversely, if we are short and price goes down, the trading stop will also go down at the same time, therefore locking in profits as price develops in the direction that we want it to go. So that's pretty much straightforward. And this indicator is, as I said, available on all major platforms. Strangely, it is not out of the box available for a Ninja trader. But if you are interested, you can get SuperTrend, the original SuperTrend, on our online store for Ninja Trader as well. Now, this is the original SuperTrend, and it has these two parameters. But there's still one problem with it. And the problem is, how do we know what are the best settings for this ATR period parameter and for this multiplier parameter? Because these are different from symbol to symbol. These are different from time frame to time frame. So how do we know what are the best settings? So typically you don't know. It's up for guesswork. You may have an intuition, or you may just stick with one set of parameters across the board. But that's really not the ideal way to go, because there is a best setting. Now, we have developed a solution for this. In fact, we have developed an intelligent version of SuperTrend, which we call SuperTrend Bulls Eye, now in generation 2.0, which will auto-optimize these two parameters for you. So auto-optimization means it will find the best settings for the ATR period parameter and for the multiplier parameter for you. And depending on the symbol you're working off, and depending on the time frame you're working off, these settings will be different, and they will always be chosen to yield the most profitable outcome. So how does SuperTrend Bulls Eye do this? Well, it looks at historical price action, and based off the history of price, it will look at which settings would have given us the best outcome. And these settings, these optimized settings, will then be used moving forward. Okay, so this is what we call the auto optimization feature of SuperTrend Bulls Eye. On top of this, we have also integrated into this new version of SuperTrend a display of what you can expect in terms of performance. So on your chart, right on your chart, you will see what was the historical profit factor. What was the average trade duration of the signals being generated by this indicator? How many trades were taken into account, and what was the win rate of these trades? All very critical information to evaluate the performance of this indicator. And you may ask yourself right now, so why don't we display a dollar amount? How much dollar we would have made? We have chosen not to do this purposefully because this always depends on your position size. Now, the more you risk, the bigger your position size, the bigger your dollar amount will be, or the bigger the loss might be. Instead, we have decided to use the profit factor. So if you know what profit factor is, it is a metric which indicates to you, independent of the position size, how profitable, historically speaking, the trading system is behaving. And one can say that a profit factor above 1 indicates a profitable system. If it's above 1.5, it's very profitable, and the higher, the better. The profit factor below 1 indicates a non-profitable system. In addition to this, we have also integrated a new trading style into SuperTrend. Originally, it is a stop and reverse indicator. Basically, that means whenever you get stopped out, you will reverse your position. Whenever you're long and you get stopped out, you go short. Whenever you're short and get stopped out, you go long again. Now, this may not suit everyone. For example, you might not be interested in going short at all, or you are not interested in being in the market all the time. This is why we have integrated into this indicator a second trading style, which we call percent trailing. This allows you to define a percent-based trading stop for a SuperTrend. Whenever you get stopped out for this percent-based trading stop, you actually go flat. You do not reverse the position. And then you're flat until an entry signal occurs again, and so forth. So you stay in the trade until you are stopped out based on your percent-based trading stop. Then you go flat and you wait for a new entry signal of SuperTrend to enter into the market again. Now, let's quickly have a look at how SuperTrend Bulls Eye looks on the chart. We have white triangles for short entries and the bluish triangles for long entries. Once you're in a long trade, the white line is your trading stop. And once you're in a short trade, the blue line is in your trading stop. So far, so good. Looks pretty much like the regular SuperTrend. Now, what's new is that we have auto-optimized the ATR period and the multiplier parameter for you. How does this work? Well, there's an auto-optimization function built into the indicator. And what you can see here on the top right of the chart, you can see which parameters for these two variables, 3 for the multiplier in this case, and 30 for the ATR period have been chosen in this example. And the way the indicator does this is basically it tries out all combinations of these two parameters to find out which one has worked the best. And this set of parameters, this combination of parameters is then used to calculate these entry signals. On top of this, using these two parameters, we showed to you what is the profit factor, historically speaking, in this case 2.51, which is highly profitable. How many trades were taken into account? In this case, 10 trades, 5 to the long side and 5 to the short side. And what was the average duration for these trades? In this case, 46.2 bars. And in addition to this, we also show you when did the optimization period start, which you can see here as start date. Of course, all of these can be configured in the parameters and the settings of the indicator. Okay, but there's one more thing that we've built into this indicator, which we call third generation spearhead scanning. Using this indicator on one symbol is one thing, which is nice, it's great. But wouldn't it be better if you could identify out of a whole pool of symbols, which of them is the most profitable one to use for SuperTrend Bulls Eye? And on top of this, wouldn't it have been even better if you could use the optimized parameters of SuperTrend Bulls Eye to identify the most profitable symbols? This is really a game changer. This has not been developed before ever, to the best of my knowledge. I believe this is a feature which will really allow you to trade only when the odds are stacked in your favor. So we call this third generation spearhead scanning. What do I mean by this? So first generation scanning is probably the one type of scanning that you're already using. You use a scanner in MotiveWave or NinjaTrader or somewhere else to scan for entry or exit signals. No idea whether these signals are any profitable or have been profitable in the past. You just scan for entry or exit signals. That's it. So that's generation 1 scan. You just scan for these signals. Generation 2 is I want to scan for signals which have been proven to be profitable in the past. Okay, that's already one step further. So now we're not only considering any symbols, any signals, but only the signals which have been proven to be profitable. But we can even push it one step further. This is what we call generation 3 spearhead scanning. Here, we only scan for signals which have been optimized and are highly profitable. So it's a combination of these two things. We have optimized the parameters for the symbol, and we've picked the best symbol to trade on. This is what we call generation 3 spearhead scanning. And this is really a tool which will allow you to put all the odds in your favor. And how this works in live trading, on live charting, will be shown to you now by Nicolas.
Okay, so as Daniel mentioned, SuperTrend Bulls Eye is really an improvement on the original SuperTrend, and it includes some useful features. So of course, SuperTrend Bulls Eye contains classic SuperTrend within it. And I'd just like to take a quick look at the parameters. And by the way, this is MotiveWave platform that I've got SuperTrend Bulls Eye applied on, the 1-minute chart for Twitter. And looking in the settings here, we see we have the multiplier for the trailing stop and the ATR period for the trailing stop, as well as a trail stop percentage parameter for the percent trailing style that we added in, as Daniel mentioned. And up in the top right corner here, we see the results panel. And it's a lot like IET. It shows statistics, as Daniel's already said, for the trades. And we're able to set a look back period for the calculation of these statistics. So in this case, I've set my look back period to 500 bars. We see from the current bar, 500 bars back, where the plotting started. The result panel is showing results for these signals that have already been taken. We see we've had total 11 completed trades, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and the 12th hasn't closed yet. So those are very useful information. But the big thing with SuperTrend Bulls Eye, and I'd just like to actually draw attention to, as we adjust the settings, I change the multiplier to 2, period to 17, we can see the results panel update real time with the new statistics for the configuration we've now inputted. But the really interesting thing with SuperTrend Bulls Eye is the ability to automatically find the best settings, right? And the way to do this is really just a click of a button. We have this optimize button right here. And if we keep our eye on the results panel, we see we had a multiplier of 2, a period of 17, and our profit factor is 0.8 over the look back period. And when I click optimize, get a little optimizing note there, and it found a better set of parameters, the best possible it could find, which gave us a profit factor of 1.62. I put the period to 45, the multiplier to 2.5. And we can see now that it automatically actually applied those settings itself to the study. So we didn't have to look at that, input it ourselves. Now in MotiveWave, we have that button to click optimize whenever we want to optimize. If I want to optimize over 1,500 bars, I can do that again. We'll get the best possible settings for that look back. But we can also click automatically optimize parameters. And this is handy just an extra feature. So whenever you change anything in the study and click update, the settings will always be optimized automatically. And just like any optimizer, a generic optimizer, in your optimizer inputs here in the settings, you're able to set the kind of limitations of the combinations of settings that the study tests to find the best configuration. So for your multiplier input, your ATR period input, and trailing stop input, if you're using a trail stop percent trailing style, you're able to set the start and end values and the increments, so just like a normal optimizer. So this is all very handy. And I'd just like to draw quick attention. Oh, and as you're running through the trading day, just to put this into perspective, let's say we optimize at the beginning of the day, and then come 10:30, 10:45, we want to again optimize to see, is this still the best configuration for the look back? Again, easily you just click optimize and you'll find the new best settings if they've changed. For MotiveWave, we have something called the Strategy Builder, and it's a tool that basically allows you to build your own automated strategies, and it allows you to do something like automatically trade the SuperTrend Bulls Eye indicator. But the cool thing that we've set up with SuperTrend Bulls Eye is that not only can you create an automated strategy, but whenever you want, you can click optimize and the strategy will update and it'll trade with the new configurations automatically, which is extremely handy. So just quick example here. Here, I just have a simple strategy that's trading the indicator, and I'm running this in kind of a simulated trading mode. We see as a buy signal comes in, the strategy goes long, and sell signal, we go short. But let's say at some point during the trading day, I wanted to open up the settings for Bullseye and re-optimize to find new settings. The configuration's now changed. As I let the trading day progress, the strategy will automatically kind of update itself so that it recognizes these new signals. So that was something took a little while to get working, but I think it's a very handy feature. But now on to really the awesome thing about SuperTrend Bulls Eye is this next generation kind of scan. And in MotiveWave, you're able to create scans and check the values for indicators and create thresholds or requirements, just like any other platform, to find kind of the conditions you'd like. But with SuperTrend Bulls Eye, what we're now able to do is find combinations of symbols and settings that give the highest profit factor. So what we're going to do here is I'm just going to create an example scan and create a new one right here. And essentially what we'll do is we'll call this SuperTrend Bulls Eye profit factor greater than 3. I'll call it 3. And basically what we're going to do is I'm going to look over a watch list I have of 18 symbols from NASDAQ on the 15-minute. And I want to find SuperTrend Bulls Eye. I want to find the symbols where SuperTrend Bulls Eye has optimized such that the profit factor is at least 3.0, which is extremely high. So to set this up, I'll open up SuperTrend Bulls Eye, configure for usage in the scanner, tell it to optimize my parameters. We'll see we're optimizing over a 500 bar look back. Okay. And I'll make sure the scanner has enough bars to calculate everything. And now here's the cool part where I'm now able to say, I want my criteria to be such that the profit factor is greater than 3. And I'll click finish. And now I can start this scan. And if any, it's going to tell us the symbols which have a profit factor greater than 3. With any luck, we'll have some. Okay, we have Netflix here. And when I click Netflix, I'll open up the chart. And as I can see, it's given me a configuration. It's already optimized itself, which has a profit factor of 5.69 on this chart for the last 500 bars on the 15-minute. It's extremely high. And this is really handy because with any other indicator, you're able to scan, but you have to input the parameters, right? You don't know what the best parameters are. So I already know a bunch of symbols that have great profit factors here, 5.62, 5.18. And if you look, they all have different settings because they've optimized themselves, 2.5 and 10, 2.5 and 5. So this is a very handy feature. And this is kind of that next generation of scanning that Daniel was talking about. And to compound this capacity, another thing that you're able to do is, for example, let's say not only do we want to find symbols that have a 3.0 or higher profit factor, but let's say we want to find symbols with a 3.0 profit factor and there's a buy signal. So I would come in here and click buy. I want a buy signal, so one that has a value greater than 0. And I'll say, if there was a buy signal in the last 10 bars and the profit factor is greater than 3, then alert me of this symbol. So I'll scan for these opportunities. Okay. So for example, WYNN, here we've got a profit factor of 4.62 with these settings, and we just had a buy signal. So with any luck, that would again be a profitable long. And it's really a powerful tool to help you find good signals with kind of a proven track record, a high profit factor. It makes it really easy and handy to scan. And I'm going to hop on over now to NinjaTrader just to show how you can do the same type of thing in NinjaTrader. So here is SuperTrend Bulls Eye in NinjaTrader. It looks much the same. The result panel is a lot smaller here, but you can configure that, the font size and all. And the way to do these scans in NinjaTrader is just as simple. You want to open up a market analyzer window like so, and select some instruments you want to scan. I have a little watch list set up here with 10 symbols. And now you need to create your own column. So you right click, go to columns, and we would hop down to, we want to look at an indicator, double click on indicator, and we select our indicator of choice, trading indicators, SuperTrend Bulls Eye. And then we'll set up our settings. So I want to optimize, let's say on the last 500 bars. And the plot I want to look at in my scan is the profit factor. So I'll select profit factor here, and I'm really doing the simplest possible kind of scan. So what this is going to do now, when I click OK, it's going to add a new column to my market analyzer, and it's going to calculate the profit factor, or it's going to show me the profit factor for the optimized application of this study to all these symbols. So on each of these symbols, not only is it giving me the profit factor when SuperTrend Bulls Eye is applied to that chart, but it's giving me the optimized one. It's doing the optimization behind the scenes. So I'll know that I'll always have the best settings. So here on BAC, it's telling me, hey, you have a 5.56 profit factor on this chart on the 1 minute. So with any luck, I'm going to match my settings in SuperTrend Bulls Eye to the scan. I believe I had a 500 bar look back. Yes. And if I go over to BAC, the symbol, we'll see we have a 5.56 profit factor. So that was a good tell from that scan. And you can really see just how useful this is. It speeds things up and it helps you find and single out, really good symbols to be trading on. And that about wraps it up for me. I just want to make one last point that you can really increase the look back to something very large if this looked like it was too short for you. So here we have kind of to the end of the chart here, but you can go very far back with your look backs instead of just having to increase your sample size there to get more trades in your statistics. And that's all for me, Daniel.
Perfect. Thanks, Nicola. Yeah, as you can see, this is a pretty awesome feature, and we're super happy to have this new generation out because we think it's really a game changer when it comes to identifying profitable trades, not only for swing trading, but also for intraday trading. Actually looked at the SuperTrend Bulls Eye indicator today at the 1 minute and the 30 seconds chart of the S&P minis, and it gave some pretty incredible signals across the board. Okay, so we have released SuperTrend Bulls Eye version 2.0 today. It is available on our online store as of today. And for a short period of time, we're going to offer this indicator for the price as it is offered right now. This price will change very soon in the future because we believe with third generation Spearhead Scanning, we have put together a tool for you, which not only allows you to see signals crystal clear on your chart for both swing trading and day trading, but you can also scan for the most profitable and optimized signals across multiple symbols, a whole universe of symbols, which makes it extra and super powerful. SuperTrend Bulls Eye is available for NinjaTrader and for MotiveWave. So if you're using NinjaTrader, and Homa, please put the links into the chat. Please go to this link to see the product page if you're interested of the NinjaTrader version of SuperTrend Bulls Eye, or if you use MotiveWave, you can go to this link below here. We're so confident that you will love this indicator that we are giving you a 7-day money back guaranteed, no questions asked. So you really have no risk. We're super confident this indicator will make a big difference in your trading, especially with a 3rd-generation scanning feature. So there's a 7-day money back guarantee built in. Okay, so let's move on to the second feature of today. We're going to do a little bit of a context switch back to our power bundle indicators. If you've been attending the last couple of sessions, you know that our power bundle indicators are 1-3 strike, divergence cloud, and volatility crusher. And we're going to use these 3 indicators to put together a trading portfolio, a swing trading portfolio. Now, Rainer has been occupying himself with exactly this. So Rainer, are you there?
Yes.
Great. So please take over.
So what is our goal here? Let me just go and show our goal. We will use and manage, actively manage a $10,000 trading portfolio. And this is not something like sell in May, go away, or set it and forget it. No, it's really something where we look on a weekly, I look there at a daily basis and do updates, and you can definitely follow them. I show you the link where you can see the Excel. And this portfolio will have a mix of cash and equity positions. And once again, cash is a position. So if there's not really anything, cash is a great position. But if we find something, we will edit. And we will use primarily US equities for that, or actually exclusively US equities, okay? How do we trade? It's very important. We use the 360 bundle. That means the 1-3 strike, the divergence cloud, and the volatility crusher. Whatever fits best, whatever is really the best way to go. We will start with them with the default settings, unless we're really not happy and have to do some adjustments. And we will do swing trades for a very simple reason. They will be larger than 1 day. They can be 14 days, they can be a month. If we have a great trend that runs for 3 months, why not? Let the winners run, cut the losers short. And we will only take long positions. It's quite simple why. Not everyone is allowed to sell short. No day trading restrictions, so you're not going to be called for the day trading pattern, the 5 trades. And it's easier to maintain. So that's really the reason we do this. And when you do something like that, we need some rules. I will go through them more often while we show these things, but at least you can see them at once and see that we have some really things in mind here. So we will normally not handle more than 5 positions. That's, I think, is a very important thing, because what happens quite often is that people get too many positions and really do not follow them properly and then forget, oh, I forgot to put that. Oh, I forgot to do this. This is when you have too many things. If you have only about 5 positions, that is quite easy to handle. The risk per trade should not be more than 2% of the portfolio equity. And I show you how to calculate that later on. And we will always go for at least 1 to 2 risk to reward. That means every trade we enter, we want to have at least double the risk, okay? And these calculations will be done with the average true range.
Hey, Rainer,
yeah?
I think you meant to say double the reward.
Double the reward. What did I say?
Double the risk.
Sorry. No, of course, double the reward. Thanks, Daniel. And we will use the ATR, the average true range, to calculate our stop loss and profit target. And should anything go wrong, we will liquidate the position right away. We will not fuss around, we'll just liquidate it. One more thing I will also look here is that we have a little kind of view at the asset correlations. As you all know right now, the tech stocks are getting hammered. And what we don't want to do is put in all our eggs in one basket, which means we're not going to take 5 oil stocks, we're not going to take 5 tech stocks or whatever. This is way too risky, okay? A simple slide will show you. I have here just a simple example. This is a stock in the healthcare, diagnostic and research sector, LNTH. It just popped up on my screen, so I used it. And the price at May 9 was about $62.17. And really the resistance that stock was looking at to break is at 67.71. So we will enter this position if this price is going through this. And I show this later on in the slide. And what we do when we are at this position, we look at the ATR, and the ATR always displays a number. Daniel explained it pretty well. It shows the daily volatility, and you can say the range the stock is going up and down. And in order not to get stopped out, we will have a stop loss, which is calculated by factor 1.5 of this every true range. If we would just use the true range, the chances would be 50-50 that we would stop out right away. And we don't want this. This makes no sense. So we take a factor of 1.5, which at this point is $5.54. We add this to our, we subtract this from our entry price. Then this gives us the stop price. And the profit target will be twice the risk. So at that point, if the risk is 1.5 ATR, our profit should be 3 times ATR, which means the 1107 is added to the entry price. We will exit at least 7878 unless the stock is in such a strong move that we just stay in. What we also will do is we will have always a reason to enter. Is there a signal from the divergence cloud? Is there a signal from the strike? Because otherwise later on, we cannot really say why we entered it, and we want to later see how to best use these indicators. And each of this is going to be entered in an Excel sheet like this here. And this Excel sheet, there is a link pasted, and there will be a link pasted also in the chat box so that you can really call it up and see what we do. Because what we will do during the session here, look at some stocks, and should they trigger during the week, I will enter them.
And Rainer, maybe a quick comment. In case you're wondering why we have chosen a stop loss at 1.5 times the ATR, the logic is quite simple. Average true range is the average price move within a day. If we put a stop loss of exactly 1 ATR, chances are we will be stopped out just by the general swing of the symbol within a day. This is why we've chosen 1.5 times the ATR to give the trade a bit more space. And the profit target was chosen at 3 times the ATR. And this is simply calculated by multiplying the stop loss times 2. Because remember, we always want to have a risk reward ratio of 1 to 2. So twice the reward for 1 time the risk.
Today, what we will look at, I found a few stocks that we should look at. That's ConocoPhillips, and Marathon Oil. Oxy is another petroleum company, and the Golden Ocean Group. These are stocks that are right now, we're showing up, but as you can see pretty soon, let me show you a couple of things here. When we look today at the S&P 500, we see that we had another big down day. Actually, it was not a down day, but it was not a good day. We had it went up and then it went down again. You see the momentum is still facing very much down. VIX is up, and I just put this chart up so you can see. This is actually where we had the pandemic. Where the pandemic started, it went down, but it only took about 4 months to come up here again. And right now we're down here. They even expect that the market might drop till 3,600 and then finds a bottom, because the indicators just show that we're not done yet. Some people say, oh gosh, we are in a crash. No, it's not a crash. Crash would be something that is way more volatile and way more heavier than this. So this is not really, this is a pretty strong market correction, but you know, that's the way it is. So let me just go in here and look at those stocks. Let's start with a COP. And let's turn on the indicator. Then I show you why this stock came up. The stock had a great performance. If you look at this here, you see it's really, really going up. We had some nice entry. It's always above the 50, which you can say it's really on a positive trending. It broke those resistance. And we had a great situation a couple of days ago here when it went through, hit the double top. We have a signal here, which I really like, but what I want to have is that it really goes through here, that I take the signal, because right now the signal alone is not something I want to rely on. Therefore, the market is a little bit too dicey, a little bit too difficult right now. So this is still a great candidate. We had some really good entries here. You see 1, 2, 3 strike. This one was a great one. It broke through. I would have gotten in here right away for 2 reasons. We had a great 1, 2, 3 strike signal here. We had a break through the resistance zone, and this was the previous pivot. So this is a great entry, and I expect this one to go up, break through here, and then this is definitely a very good entry. So we keep this in mind. This is something we will watch throughout the week. The entry will be roughly at about 108.15, and then we're going to take this one. We're going to read the number down here, which is currently at roughly 4.94, and then we will calculate from that number. We will calculate our stop loss and our profit target. Okay, and should you have questions about this one, just send an email or write us a question and I'll answer them, okay? The next candidate I had was the MRO. We have pretty much the same situations. We had some great entries here where we broke through the resistance, and this is a great run through the next part here. It bounced off here. We had probably, you can say, a double top here, but right now I'm not sure if it's really going to do it. So we need to wait again until it comes back, or it might even fall, because you see the momentum is currently down. So we'll have to wait. That's why I don't want to go in. Oxy was a great performer during the previous weeks. We went after we tested it twice and came back, had what we call the last kiss here. Went through the resistance and really went up. We had some great signals. We had the volatility crusher, we had the divergence cloud, and we had the 1, 2, 3 strike going through here. And I'm actually waiting for 1, 2, 3 strike to fire. I'm pretty sure it's going to fire, but we also will have to wait till it breaks through the resistance in order to be a valid signal for us to trade, and so that we will really risk the money. This one here, the Golden Ocean Group. Yeah, I was not too crazy about it. It had some really good stuff. It had some good signals. For me, this period really from June 04 till, you can say, February 16. So we're talking about 3/4 of a year. It didn't really make any money. So I was like, should we really go for that one? It didn't make any money, but it looked like you could also put some resistance support here, and then it really went up, and it looked like it could really develop in something. Same thing here in this current market situation. This is probably the least likely candidate I would like to go, but I will let you know. I'll put it in as soon as something develops, and we will always review them. I also want to show you 2 more stocks that I think are really interesting that we should look at. And these are actually the Ford. You know, we want to have different sectors. This would be the automotive. And I like Ford because Ford has great potential with the EV and has superb service around the States everywhere. And if they really get it together, they can crush that market. So my expectation really was it comes down, is going to hit this support here and bounces up. That's what I expected today. And actually, I was hoping to get a signal here, a 1, 2, 3 strike or something like that, in order to really use this one here, because it just looked like, yes, it's going to happen. Today it didn't. So we'll see how it's going to work out in next week. But this is definitely a stock I would say we have a chance to run at least back to about here to the 20s easily. And that would be almost 100%. So I see really good potential. I definitely want to keep that in our trading indicator stocks. And the next one I also want to show you is the Facebook, the Meta platform. This company, and you see I'm trading this quite a bit, you can see this here. This company has absolutely great numbers, and they have very good results. And it really beats me why they got so beaten here. It really, from the numbers, makes no sense. So for me, this is really something, that's probably going to take another couple of days or weeks, where it's going to go and here it does a little bit of the consolidation here and forms this kind of wedge, and then I expect it really to take off again. So I definitely gonna have very close eye on these one in order to get the right entry. We had a signal here, which I thought, yes, this is it. We're going to take the signal and we're going to fill the gap. Here you see there is a gap. And I was so sure it's going to go, break it through, and then we're going to run up and fill the gap. So far, it didn't do it. So, but you can also see for people that are a little bit more into chart reading, you see we have the price coming down, we have the momentum going up. It's called a bullish divergence. So that can go on for some more time, and then it probably will break to the top. So these are the 6 stocks right now that I'm really looking and try to figure out which one is worth putting in. And as soon as some of these stocks move, I will put them in here. You can always check this one here. Next week, we're definitely going to go through all the positions that I entered, hopefully by then, unless the market really plays me a little cheeky monkey game. But otherwise, you will see them here. We're going to go through. By then, there's probably a lot more coming up for the scanner. If not, I'm going to ask Niklas to do a scan for me to find me the best stocks, so we have a rocking portfolio. And then we go through these positions and see what we can do and make some money. Okay, that's it right now from me.
Great, thank you, Rainer. All right, so let me quickly take back the screen. So just to recap what Rainer was saying is we are trying to build a trading portfolio for a $10,000 initial investment. We are going to add step-by-step stocks or entries to equities to this portfolio. Currently, we're staying cash only because of the market conditions, but we are going to add to this portfolio as market conditions permit. You can always follow along using this link down here. Homa has also posted it into the chat, and we'll also post this into the YouTube description. All right, so just to wrap it up, if you want to take advantage of SuperTrend Bulls Eye version 2.0, just released today, we have a special pricing for you guys today for a couple of days available. There's no risk for you at all. There's a 7-day money back guarantee, so no questions asked. And this indicator is available for Motive Wave and Ninja Trader. The links are posted in the chat and in the description. And of course, these 2 indicators, they come with our never seen before Generation 3 Spearhead Scanning. All right, so a quick outlook for next week. So next week's topic is going to be the strategy builder for Motive Wave, which will allow you to click together without any programming knowledge your automated strategy in Motive Wave. And of course, you can also use our SuperTrend Bulls Eye indicator for this. So super exciting topic. We're also going to, again, look at our trading portfolio. Let's see if we have some trades by next week. And when it comes to Motive Wave, we're going to give you a whole bunch of tips and tricks to get the most out of the platform. As always, This session will take place on Thursdays at 6 p.m. If you have any questions, please send them to hj@tradingindicators.com. Homa is always super happy to get any form of feedback, good or bad. And I believe this wraps up the session. Thank you so much for attending. Thank you,
Although,
Rainer.
Daniel, I prefer the good, but I'm happy to get the bad as well. Just kidding.
Perfect. Thanks, Sels, of course. So if there are no more questions, then I'd like to wrap it up. Thank you for attending and see you all next week. Bye-bye.